Hey, how's it going, people? Panda here, and I'm back with the whole Raw, whatever it is. I still don't know what to really call this whenever I do it. But just basically where I go over what happened on the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. It's for June 6th, and they're out of Hartford, Connecticut, which is the home operations, or where the WWE main offices are. And why that is important is because of the first segment, because we get the return, or I guess you could say the on TV return, or would be more accurate, of the $1 billion princess Stephanie McMahon. Basically, she just comes out and says that while the doctors have cleared Triple H to compete, she's not going to allow him to compete tonight, or on this episode. And the crowd just starts booing like crazy. Vince then comes out. He's actually starting to grow his hair back out. It was just something that I kind of noticed, and it is back in his old shape. So maybe with a long-haired Vince, he's gonna become more pale-ish, I guess. And it kind of came through with what he was saying, where he agreed he wasn't going to allow Triple H to compete. He said this isn't a blood sport. This is family entertainment. So I took that as kind of him, I guess you could say, squashing the whole we want TV 14 back and Attitude Era and stuff like that, which was actually kind of funny because one of the camera angles where it was catching both Vince and Stephanie at once, right in the middle of them was a sign in the crowd that says "We want TV 14 back," and it was just like one of those just most perfect camera shots ever. The only thing I could compare that to is when I think it's DeAndre Liggins or some kind of pro basketball player's little son walked between the two commentators post game with his pants down, and it got real big on ESPN and stuff like this or stuff like that. But it was just that kind of same thing where it's like the most perfect timing, where he was kind of like, I guess, saying this is what our show is. Forget about the other, or the past, and then there's that sign. He also asked, as a personal request, is what he said, to not boo Stephanie, in which case, of course, they booed even louder. After that, the Shield music came. Apparently, during the TV went to commercial, but on the app, all that happened was the McMahons left and Shield just entered the ring because they were in the first match against Randy Orton and Team Hell No. It was, of course, an awesome match, especially where Daniel Bryan is... I'm not entirely sure what they're trying to do with Bryan, because I originally thought that they were going to do a Daniel Bryan versus Kane feud once they lost the titles, and they may still do it, but they're also kind of leading him or building him up to maybe where he would challenge for a major title, but with part of what they're doing where he's wanting respect and feels like the weak link and everything. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't know that was you. Of course, the Shield wins. It's kind of a trend over the course of the show where not a lot really happened. So this video will and kind of hopefully will be shorter than the past ones, where it was really just kind of, I guess you could say, cut and dry matches throughout the night. During or when they came back from break, Triple H says he was going to compete. That was kind of course, a continuing thing throughout the night where that situation was dealt with. But the next match was the Usos versus the Primetime Players. This is probably my favorite match of the night because it was two real tag teams going head to head. So maybe they're finally trying to at least build back the tag team division, which the mid-card is actually pretty strong right now. So that's always awesome to see, and I really liked it. They had, real tag teams instead of two random thrown togethers against usually the Shield. Also, the Usos won. The next segment was Alberto Del Rio versus Big E Langston, Part 5. I know they're just trying to fill in the time before Ziggler came back. I was hoping, based on a few reports where he was apparently at a live show this past week or weekend, that he would appear, but he didn't. Del Rio won with a armbar cover kind of thing. It was actually a really interesting move that he did, even though there was way too much of a side of Big E Langston just hanging up in the air that nobody wanted to see. It was disturbing. Next segment, Sheamus versus Cody Rhodes, because they're trying to build some kind of Sheamus Damien Sandow rivalry. They've been doing these little segment games on SmackDown where Sandow challenges Sheamus to different tasks. No idea what's going on with that, mostly because I always forget to watch SmackDown. But of course, Sheamus won. It was actually a really good match. Like I said, I don't know exactly what they're going for with Sheamus and Sandow. Maybe just to help push Sandow as a single, since those two as a tag team kind of flopped, I guess. Even though they never really, I don't think they ever got a title match, really. Maybe they did. I would imagine that they did, but I have no idea. Next match, Fandango versus the Great Khali. This was kind of like a return match kind of thing based off the whole dance competition they had a couple weeks ago where Khali won. And in kind of traditional fashion, Fandango just leaves. Miz cut him off on top of the stage and was trying to force him back to the ring. And then when Miz turned back around, he got hit by Wade Barrett with the bullhammer elbow. So I'm guessing, or from what I could tell, the original match ended in a no contest, even though it should have been a count out for Khali. But I don't know what they did. They didn't, ring the bell or make anything else. They just moved straight along to a Barrett Miz match. And of course, Miz won with the figure four leg lock. I really wish, if they were going to give Miz the figure four, that he would have been pushed to maybe a higher title. Not that I'm against him in the mid card, especially for the Intercontinental, but it just kind of seems like it's a wasted push by Ric Flair, kind of. And also, I wish he would still use the skull crushing finale, other than what he did with it last week, instead of always winning or trying to win with the figure four.
Yeah, I'm guessing you just died by the thing. Also, it was like a blur.
But what led to the figure four, Fandango came out, he didn't even start dancing, he just kind of held Summer Rae and distracted Barrett, and he got actually rolled him up into a figure four, which is kind of interesting. So it looks like they're leading up to a triple threat title match. I would guess at Payback. Next segment, Chris Jericho and Punk contract signing for their Payback match. Probably the most waste. This is definitely the biggest time filler, probably. And usually these public contract signings aren't horrible segments. This one definitely wasn't the best. I mean, of course they weren't going to have anybody go through the table or anything like that because it was Paul Heyman that showed up to sign the contract in place of Punk or whatever. But like I said, nothing real important. Jericho stuffed the contract down the front of Heyman's pants. That's really about it. Segment 9. I didn't watch the match. I went and did something else for obvious reasons. It was a 6 Diva tag match. I don't know if there's anything else I really need to say about that. It was the Bellas and AJ versus the Funkadactyls and Caitlyn. I don't know who won because I don't care. Because it's a 6 Diva tag match. I would love if they actually tried to build the Divas division, but that's not doing it. That's there to fill time with random bullshit, basically. They have enough of a roster and everything that they could really do something, but they're not going to, or it doesn't appear that they're going to. So yeah, big old fat Diva turd match thing there. I don't even know. Back. I'm guessing it was before the Fandango Kali match. Triple H was real pissed off after a encounter with Vince in the back, and he leaves saying that he was 100% competing next week at the start of the show against Curtis Axel. After they got back from the commercial after the Divas match, another Wyatt family thing promo. I'm still not sure how I feel about the Wyatts. Mostly because, like I said before, I don't want another 3-person team right now. And also they're not interesting, odd. Like they're trying to create this look of they're strange and they're wanting to take over or something. And it's just, I don't know, it's not reeling me in just yet. Next match was Daniel Bryan versus Ryback. And I know he competed back in the first match of the night to redeem himself because he was the one that got pinned from earlier. He challenged.
As long as
he was going to just wrestle someone, and then him and Ryback had some random altercation in the back. It was like the worst setup they probably could have had for making that match. But either way, that happened. Daniel Bryan actually won via DQ because Ryback put him through a table, much like he did Kofi Kingston on SmackDown, except he didn't get to put him through multiple before John Cena came out. And because it is Daniel Bryan, of course it was a really good match. He was sprinting all over the ring like he has been the last couple weeks. But like I said, Cena comes out, and it jumps straight into the main event. Main event was John Cena versus Curtis Axel, or as Michael Cole said several times, Curtis Angle. It was an understandable mistake, even though he said it several times. I think it actually started trending on Twitter, Curtis Angle. But it was a no disqualification match. Mr. McMahon actually made the match later or earlier in the night when he ran into Curtis Axel in his office. It probably doesn't take the smartest man in the world to figure out what happened at the end, where Ryback comes out and just destroys Cena. They had left a table that Ryback had placed up on the barricade at the timekeeper's area, and he think he just picked him up and slammed him much like he did at Extreme Rules, where he put him through the LED board. An odd thing that I noticed kind of early in the match was that the ref was counting when they were outside, and I'd never seen that before in a no disqualification match. It was just out of place. I mean, there's no rules really in it, so that was odd. And then when Ryback came out and put him through the table, it made sense because it gave Curtis Axel the win over the WWE champion via countout again, even though it shouldn't have, because it was a no disqualification match. But you know, WWE logic, it doesn't matter. So there was the Raw for June 3rd. Did I say 4th earlier? I don't remember. I'm sorry if I did. Not the best show, not bad in my opinion. The matches that happened were still good, even though the overall it was just kind of plain. But down in the comments, leave any predictions you think they'll have for Payback or any feuds or anything like that. Also, leave a comment on what I should call this series, because I have no clue. And I'll see you guys later.